I gotta upload this very late because I just came up from mini golf an hour ago and it was really fun. My hands are tired though. But this is probably the most hype update. Like the update's been recently even hyped. I think this might be top hype shit ever. Like we get a free unit and there's other stuff. It basically comes. I think this update kind of confirms that Gogeta Blue is probably coming soon. I don't think next week, but I think very soon. I'm also like playing legit Grandcraft in the background, but let's look at the new Vegeta, who is a range type for Vegeta family, and we're gonna assume he's 14 star. And his strike and blast attack are really good, and his defense are actually pretty good for when he's 14 star. Under it, he's not as good, but we're probably gonna have 14 stars. And he looks pretty good in terms of stat. Like every stat looks good. His defenses and strike, even his HP looks alright. So overall, he's a really good unit in terms of stats. And let's look at his main build. This is getting annoying. He draws a special move card. Always gonna get any cards, but special move is probably the worst one due to the fact that it's high cost. But that doesn't matter too much. You get 10 minus 10 cost on each thing for 45. Overall, he's really good in terms of blast and strike, so this is good, and he's guaranteed to like get more cards like out, so that's good. And he gets 50% key recovery, which is cool because that means, which is really good with this because he's guaranteed to hit more like cards out typically, and he gets 50% more on his special move. 50% is nothing to scoff at. That's a lot of damage. And the unique that he gets is Prince of the Ruined World, which he applies. Restores his own ki by 20 whenever he enters the battlefield, which means he's guaranteed a strike card or at least a blast. And I think he actually guarantees a blast if he has one. And 40% for 20 counts. That's really good damage for 40% is good. And he gets draw speed. Draw speed is always good due to the fact that if you don't have draw speed, you can't really do anything, but draw speed gives him more cards and he gets key things. Like with this is really good. And he draws a special arts card, which whenever he seems to have Vegeta family, so you can actually only run one Vegeta family if you want to. But I think you should run always one Vegeta family, like mostly all Vegeta family, because of what he fits on best. And he applies to the following stuff for allies for 60 counts. 30% damage inflicted, which is amazing. That means he has 70% on himself and 30% for every other unit. And he gets 40% key, and he applies to 40% more damage. Only for 30 counts, but he has a lot of damage in the beginning, and he gives a support for 60 counts, and he reduces, so he's alright in terms of defensive. So far his uniques are overall really good for a free unit, I think. And his normal strike and blast, he gets a special move which does 20% more upon activation, not on hit. So even if you miss this, you get 20% more blast, which is always great. And his green card is pretty good too. Like he gets 15% blast and 15% per. Oh, so 10% more damage for each ally for allies depending on the blast cards in your hand, which is really good depending on how much like blast you have in your cards. And he changes all his strike into blast. So this means that you're going to change it to blast, or if you have full hand of blast, this part doesn't matter, but you get more damage. So it's kind of like depends on your situation. Like you either get more damage inflicted or your cards turn into blast. And he was both of them, which is not good for him because he has the most range, but he does both kind of well, so it doesn't matter. And he's a Vegeta family max HP buffer, and HP is probably the best stat to increase, and he's Vegeta family. I think he's by far the best Vegeta family unit in the game, so that's good. So let's look at the new advanced star coming out. So we're gonna get a Rising Battle, which is pretty good because I'm pretty sure you get insane amounts of like what's it called? I'm pretty sure you get an insane amount of Z power from it. I feel like Rising Battle is probably my favorite event in the game, so that's amazing, honestly, for me. And there's more UST, and you get these things which are not really relevant in my opinion, and that's pretty much all for events personally. But I think the summons here are honestly the most impactful thing changes from this update. So let's look at them. So the first thing you notice is the Bardic. I'm gonna look at the Bardic. There's dailies. If they put for every banner, this is hype because it basically means you can actually Zenkai a whole unit without ever paying 1,000 on discounts. The only thing is you get more thanks to daily, but I think the Zenkai dailies are probably better than most dailies, so this is insane. This is probably the biggest changes in terms of impact, but I don't think it's the most hype thing. The most hype thing, though, is... Where is it? Did I miss it? I might be blind. Where is it? I don't see it. I don't see the... Okay, here. Sparking Limit Break. So, I'm gonna say this banner is 100% worth it if you can afford it. If you can't, I still think you should go for it. This banner tells me that Gogeta, or at least a super duper hype unit, is coming out soon due to the fact that this banner is insane. Even if you don't have any legendary limit, you get 1,000 Z power. And I think that's just insane no matter how much you think about it. And you also get a 600 legendary limit, which I'll probably use on United Goku or wherever the next elf will be. And the feature banner unit does not matter. I think this alone is just good, and this just gives it extra value. Honestly, this banner is probably the best banner to ever come out, in my opinion. In my opinion, of course. I think this is probably the best banner to come out in a long time. And that's pretty much it for the banner units. That's it for the free units and the banners, and pretty much it for the Rising Battle. Honestly, this update is probably the best update coming out in a while due to the fact everything is so good at coming out. Daily Zenkai, amazing thing like banner, and a really good free-to-play unit. Honestly, I think this is probably the best update to come in this update batch, which is a really good, like, we got like UI Sankuroku, who's probably one of the most fun units, and I still think this update beats it. Like, this is a crazy update. I hope they continue to make good updates, but